In the third year of being with Ryan, the scion of the Thompson family, our transactions remained strictly business. Dinner? $20,000. A date? $100,000. A night together? $300,000. The day I discovered my pregnancy, my brain short-circuited. Staring at the aloof man in hospital gown across from me, I blurted out, "Ryan, do you have $100 million?" His chiseled face tightened. Despite the medical attire, Ryan looked devastatingly healthy, those sharp eyes narrowing. Why? Just curious. His lips curled with familiar mischief. Trying to hit some new financial milestone with me. Jess? I choked on air. No. I meant. The words "what if I give you a child for $100 million?" burned my tongue. But his expression frosted over. Drop it. We don't do sentimental. The ice in his voice stabbed my chest. Right. Ryan, commitment phobic. Child free. Allergic to anything resembling emotional attachment. Our arrangement had two rules: no feelings. Just friction. If he knew about the positive test, he'd assume this was some gold-digging scheme. Forget $100 million, he might demand every cent back. My fingers crumpled the OB/GYN report behind me. Never mind. He didn't press. Why would he? I existed to be his dinner companion and bed warmer. Except this month's $2 million allowance had dried up by mid-month. Now his hand slid under my blouse, lips tracing my collarbone. I vaulted off the hospital bed. No more credit. I'll pay extra. Absolutely not. My hands flew protectively over my abdomen. Since when did I turn down cash? Ryan's gaze turned suspicious. I scrambled for excuses. I'm not feeling well. Work's crazy. I can only visit during your checkups now. Bolting from the room, I left his frustrated growl echoing down the sterile hallway. I was terrified Ryan would discover the secret on my phone. He suddenly grabbed my arm. His voice as icy as ever, "So the only way to see you this month is by getting sick." Considering Ryan's obsessive gym routine and peak physical condition, I nodded emphatically. Exactly. Only when you're sick. Ryan's dark eyes dimmed. He opened his mouth to speak just as the doctor entered with medical charts. Mr. Thompson, you simply caught cold from taking cold showers. You're cleared for discharge. Cold showers? Who takes icy showers in winter? Is this guy insane? I shot Ryan my best village idiot glare, praying our baby would inherit his looks but not his questionable judgment. Great. You're discharged now. I backed toward the door. Let's skip meetings this month. See you next month. Mr. Thompson. Next month my foot. I fled home like escaping wildfire, hastily packing essentials to hide somewhere beyond Ryan's reach. My best friend Emily sounded shocked when I called, "You're really keeping the baby?" Absolutely. I stuffed another sweater into my suitcase. You know I grew up orphaned with no family. I'd planned to save for overseas IVF anyway. Now I'm getting my wish early. Plus, with Ryan's genes, this kid would be gorgeous. I opened my travel app to book flights. Emily hesitated, the month's not over. What if Ryan falls ill again? Impossible. I waved dismissively. That gym rat's built like a bull. No way he'd get sick too. My phone rang. Ryan's assistant's number flashed. Miss Miller? Mr. Thompson's hospitalized again. Your presence is required under this month's agreement. Same hospital. Same room. 7th visit this week. Fever Monday. Flu Tuesday. Mysterious rash Wednesday. Sprained ankle Thursday. By Sunday. I stared at the bandage-wrapped tycoon, genuinely questioning corporate America's fitness standards. Brother, do you have problems with your cerebellum? Or maybe poor motor coordination? How else could he have sprained his ankle 3 times while exiting the hospital and twisted his arm? Ryan glared at me coldly. Are you questioning my capabilities? Not at all. I answered truthfully. I was questioning his intelligence instead. Can stupidity be hereditary? I studied him suspiciously, my gaze unconsciously lingering on certain areas until the man suddenly yanked me forward. His masculine scent overwhelmed me before I could react. Ryan crushed his lips against mine, fingers digging into my jaw. MMPH, his aggressive movements worsened the morning sickness I'd been battling. Sharp cramps shot through my abdomen as I struggled against him. He only tightened his grip, grinding his mouth against mine while growling. I can't even touch you now, blurg. Splat. Vomit splattered across Ryan's pristine hospital gown. Jessica! He roared, barely containing his fury. You dare retch during our kiss? You despise me this much? No explanation would suffice. Watching rage contort his handsome features, the undisguised loathing in his peach blossom eyes, I seized my chance. Exactly, I declared. I'm bored of you. This game ends now. We're through. Ryan didn't beg. He simply stared with glacial intensity before demanding, Jessica, do you comprehend your own words? His deep voice vibrated with menace. Then, ugh. Another violent heave racked my body. I nearly vomited bile this time. TSK. Ryan's explosive temperament clearly extended to our unborn child. Doubled over in misery. I missed the wounded flash in Ryan's eyes. When I finally looked up, he'd vanished. His assistant arrived bearing a black card. Miss Miller. Mr. Thompson instructed this unlimited credit line serves as your breakup settlement. The boss is the boss. Even the breakup is handled with such generosity. But I watched his limping figure walking down the hospital corridor. For some reason, it made my heart ache. In the taxi to the airport, Emily listened to my story and declared with certainty, Jess, you've fallen for him. Impossible? I clutched my stomach, nearly vomiting again. After gulping water to suppress the nausea, I snapped. We only had a transactional relationship. There's no way I'd ever like him. Emily shrugged. No shame in admitting it. He obviously likes you too. Then why'd he give you that black card? Too much money to burn. My heart pounded violently. Like me? Ryan liking me? Impossible. Stop talking nonsense, I said through clenched teeth, fighting back bitterness. He's never shown me warmth, always that icy demeanor. How could he possibly care? Besides, everyone knows about his decade-long relationship. The whole social circle calls that girl his first love. He hasn't loved anyone since. Why would I be different? I bit my lip, inexplicable sorrow welling up. Emily sighed. I don't get whatever short drama you're acting out. But want to bet? Call him right now. He'll come running. Call Ryan? Ridiculous. In 3 years together, I'd never once dialed his number. He'd be too busy to answer anyway. My hand drifted to my still flat abdomen. I'm leaving this city soon. We'll never. Crashing metal drowned my words. The world tilted before everything went black. I awoke in a hospital bed. A nurse holding charts gushed. You're so lucky. That terrible accident only gave you a forehead scrape and a minor concussion. Your boyfriend insisted on full body scans though. Oh my. Where did you find someone so gorgeous and devoted? Boyfriend? Since when did I have that upgrade? Before I could process, Ryan stormed in. His usually immaculate coat bore smudges, those intense eyes locking onto me like gravitational pulls. That boyfriend couldn't mean him? Scan results came clean. Told you your girlfriend's fine, the doctor announced. Scan results? I froze. Dear God. He doesn't know. Please tell me those scans only checked surface injuries. I prayed silently, only to have my hopes shattered by the man's deep voice in the next second. Jessica, You've got some nerve. Trying to run off with my child? Oh God. He really knew. What now? I nervously studied the murderous look in Ryan's eyes from across the room, remembering the woman he dragged out of his office when we first met. Her makeup smeared, hair disheveled as she screamed, "Ryan! Ryan! Don't you want me? Don't you want our child?" Ryan hadn't even glanced at her, coldly stating, "She overstepped." That ruthless demeanor made my eyes light up, someone who avoided emotional entanglements like I did. A cold, handsome billionaire? Perfect match. I'd happily approached him then. But now, time had turned the tables. I was becoming that dragged-out woman. My smile vanished. Sweating bullets. I racked my brain. Then it hit me. I looked at the nurse, then back at Ryan with feigned confusion. Who is he? The nurse froze. Ryan froze. Only I cheered internally, genius move. Ryan clearly wanted neither the child nor its mother. But publicly, he needed to save face. If I pretended amnesia, he could take Thea out. The nurse frantically checked charts. Brain damage? Impossible. Scans showed no abnormalities. Ryan narrowed his eyes. Studying me. Truly don't remember me? I shook my head innocently. Sir, who are you? Some kind Samaritan pretending to be my boyfriend? How noble. Damn Ryan. I've paved the road, just nod and we're done. Instead, Ryan stared me down before suddenly smirking, as if amused. Amnesia. Huh? Don't recognize me? He suddenly leaned in, trapping my hand, reaching for money between his palm and the hospital bed. His masculine scent enveloped me as he whispered in my ear. I'm your fiancé. Sweetheart. Fiancé my ass. Staring at his dead serious expression, I wondered which of us had brain damage. But exposing his lie meant admitting I remembered everything. Stuck. I challenged, proof? I can't just believe any random. Ryan cut in sharply. You have a burn scar 3 centimeters below your shoulder on your right arm. The hickeys on your collarbone were from me 2 days ago. Anne. The man narrowed his eyes, a mischievous grin playing on his lips. There's a red mole near your inner thigh that's particularly responsive when kissed. Stop. Just stop. You win. What the hell? This guy barely spoke during our encounters. Yet he remembered every intimate detail? My face burned crimson. Ryan only made it worse, yanking open my hospital gown with fake concern. Seeing is believing. Let's verify. As buttons popped open, nurse footsteps echoed in the hallway, with his legs trapping mine and his chest pressing against me. Getting caught half undressed would land me on tomorrow's tabloids. Amnesiac single mom in hospital romp with stranger. Total defeat. I couldn't outplay this madman. Grabbing his wrist desperately, I blurted, I believe you. Hi there, fiancé. Ryan finally released me, brushing his lips against my earlobe. Good. Let's go home, fiancé. While he handled discharge paperwork, I trembled, buttoning my gown. Marry me? The heir to the Thompson Empire? Impossible. The moment Ryan left, I speed dialed Emily. He's insane. Claims we're engaged. Emily's calm voice countered. Not impossible. Maybe he genuinely wants a family. Kids even. Kids? Alarm bells rang. Was this some twisted keep the child, discard the mother scheme? His parents did mention wanting grandchildren last week. Emily sighed. Jess. Ryan could have any woman bear his children. He clearly wants my superior genes. I cut in. Youth. Beauty. Intelligence. Sexy empathy. After my narcissistic rant, Emily deadpanned. Get another brain scan. Memories flooded back, Ryan's trembling hands when he saw the pregnancy report. His tense jawline. My conviction solidified, he wanted the baby. Not me. Alone. I'd never outmaneuver the Thompsons. Emily. I need rescue. A pause. You mean, him? Yes. I wasn't entirely alone. There remained one non-blood relative. Ethan, the brother I'd claimed from orphanage days. He had a terrible temper, but was always warm and kind to me alone. Later he got adopted by a family. Went abroad for studies. Built a successful business and achieved financial freedom. He even asked if I wanted to join him overseas. But by then I'd already met Ryan Thompson. Sure. The guy was grumpy. But giving me $2 to $3 million monthly meant I wasn't exactly strapped for cash. I declined. I remember Ethan, who usually never stopped talking, fell into prolonged silence on the phone that day. Finally he said, "All right. If you ever feel unhappy, just come find your brother Ethan. We'll always be family." Memories flooded back as tears streamed down my face. To think I still have such a brother. I texted the man, receiving an instant reply, after wrapping up current matters, 2 weeks max before I come get you. 2 weeks. Plenty of time to mess with Ryan. Hee. That night in Ryan's master bedroom, the tycoon looked at the foot basin before me and chuckled mirthlessly. Meaning? I stared up with wide, unflinching eyes. You're my fiancé. Shouldn't you wash my feet? Ha. Serves you right for playing me. Fiancé? Since when do sugar babies call their sponsors fiancés? Though I usually avoided such antics. I'd always been meticulously proper around Ryan, trembling at his slightest frown while catering to his every whim. Enduring monthly allowance top-ups was bad enough, now I'd reclaim all those humiliating bonus services. The oppressed shall rise and sing. Ryan arched an eyebrow as if saying bold move. Yet beneath the surface, his eyes sparkled with delight and indulgence. Emboldened, I doubled down using my amnesia excuse. You refuse? Really? What kind of fiancé? The next moment, the pampered billionaire knelt gracefully, his large hands enveloping my feet with tender precision. Comfortable. Fiancé? He's actually doing it? Ryan? This scoop could fetch millions. Yet, the foot bath grew increasingly peculiar. His slender fingers trailed over my instep. Feather-light touches sparking tremors through me, as his hands crept upward to caress my calves. I nearly yelped. Damn these weeks of indulgence, a few teasing strokes already had me unraveling. Holding my breath, I kicked water onto his pristine shirt. My heart raced momentarily. He was a total neat freak. And I'd actually splashed foot washing water on him? Way to go. Jessica, this wasn't pregnancy. It was practically poking the bear. Yet Ryan didn't get angry at all. Instead, gently drying my feet with a towel first. So meticulous. Enough. Watching the man walk away to dispose of the foot bath water, it struck me for the first time, the world had truly gone mad. People's courage grows with practice. After Ryan's tolerance of my deliberate provocations that night, I began escalating my demands. I refused meals unless he cooked them, rejected bathwater unless he drew it, even avoided walking on floors he hadn't mopped himself. After all, I was his fiancé now, not that hourly rate-kept woman from before. Shouldn't men treat their future wives better? Within days, the typically aloof heir of the Thompson family developed dark circles from exhaustion. Even the mansion's butler intervened, pleading, "Miss Jessica, please leave some work for the staff. You're making young master handle every visible chore. How can we possibly treat Mr. Ryan this way?" Truthfully, I'd never have dared order Ryan around before. I knew my place as a kept woman. But now, watching him clumsily yet earnestly organize my wardrobe, he resembled any ordinary husband helping his wife. Amusing. For someone who'd never experienced family life, this felt like playing house. I'd always assumed marriage meant constant chaos. Ryan's lips curved slightly, icy demeanor melting into indulgence. No matter. Salaries remain unchanged. Consider this period paid vacation, all assignments go through Mrs. Jessica now. The butler froze. Mrs. Jessica. Previously. The staff only called me Miss Jessica. He's committing to the role fast. Ryan glanced sideways. The butler immediately beamed. Thank you, Mr. Ryan and Mrs. Jessica. Ryan, 50% raise across the board. Butler, score. Me, burning money for fun. But Ryan's patience had limits. That night, as I squirmed uncomfortably in his arms, half asleep, I mumbled, Ryan, move that rod away. Ryan, in a daze. I heard the man's hoarse voice. Don't move. What the hell? How dare he order me around? Is this what a fiancé should do? My temper flared. Even half asleep, I was determined to battle that damn man. If he wouldn't let me nuzzle against him, I'd do it anyway. Back and forth. The man's breathing grew heavier. I pressed my head against his chest, feeling his heartbeat accelerate until he finally lost control, pinning me beneath him. His restrained voice held rare impatience. Jessica, don't play with fire. Not now. Not now, my ass. All I heard was him snapping at me. Tears instantly flooded down my face. You yelled at me. You actually yelled at me. I sobbed, growing more aggrieved by the second. Even Ryan became flustered. Why are you crying? I didn't know either. I just felt overwhelmingly wronged. Much later, I'd learned this was also the pregnancy hormones at work, emotions detonating at the slightest spark. The impatience in Ryan's eyes gradually softened into tenderness. In the darkness of our bed, he carefully lifted me into his arms. All right. All right. I didn't mean to snap. Hush now. Don't cry. His lips brushed mine with feather-light kisses as he spoke. Drowsily, I felt some relief from the burning discomfort. Here. I pointed to my collarbone. Kiss gently. No marks. For 3 years, Ryan had reveled in branding me with love bites. But tonight his lips traced my skin with unprecedented care. Greed overtook reason. Lower, yes. Further down. Time slipped by until Ryan's soothing finally settled me. Yet the scorching heat radiating from him nearly made me combust. He grasped my hand, voice husky with need. Jess. Help me. Ugh. Nausea surged. I vomited straight onto his chest. He gritted his teeth. Jessica. You're so annoying. Get away. I shoved at his sticky torso, suddenly repulsed by his body heat. The aftermath left me exhausted yet weirdly triumphant. Pregnancy had granted me the ultimate veto power over his desires. I was feeling irritable and kicked him again. Soft gasps echoed repeatedly in the room. 1, 2. I lost track of time until Ryan's low sigh broke through. Understood. Late at night, something cool brushed my lips. He carried me to rinse my mouth, the refreshing sensation lulling me into deep sleep. Half conscious, I thought being Ryan's fiancée wasn't so bad, certainly better than being his trophy wife. The next morning, Ryan had already left for work. The breakfast table held the latest designer bag and my favorite pink diamond. The housekeeper pushed them toward me, concern etching her features. Mrs. Thompson. Mr. Thompson had dark circles this morning. Perhaps you could visit him at lunch? TCH. Even the staff was judging me now. Sipping seafood congee, I guiltily acknowledged I'd been excessive lately. Ryan's kindness stemmed from believing my amnesia act and concern for the baby. But, since Ethan would soon take me abroad, maybe I should ease up. No need to provoke Ryan into chasing us overseas. Carrying homemade lunch, I entered Thompson Enterprises unimpeded. Nearing Ryan's office, a familiar figure darted past. Emily? My best friend and benefactor? No. Impossible. Men might betray, but never sisters. though certain of their innocence. Curiosity drew me closer. Emily's surprised voice carried through the door. "You're really humoring her amnesia game?" Ryan sounded weary. "What choice do I have? Let her discard me like some toy?" Discard him? He's the one who wanted to abandon me. Wait, he knows I'm faking? Then why play along? Devious man. I pressed closer as Emily chuckled. Don't blame Jess. Growing up orphaned left her insecure about relationships. A rustle of agreement. That's why I avoided conventional courtship methods. Smart. Emily approved. Traditional approaches would have scared her off immediately. Yes. Ryan sighed deeply. Knowing she disliked intimacy, I pretended to be a playboy so she could freely use me. Even hired extras for the act. Extras? Like that woman his men dragged out that day? His so-called first love was staged? What the hell? This guy has too much free time. Emily spoke up then. You constructed the exact relationship Jessica wanted. So she approached you willingly. I froze. So, everything Ryan did was to be with me? My parents abandoned me as a child. Later, Ethan left with his adoptive parents overseas. Relationships always disappeared from my life. Every abandonment felt like my heart being ripped out. Better not start anything. I never dated. Preferred transactional relationships, less investment. Less pain when they ended. After getting with Ryan, I priced everything, $20,000 per meal. $100,000 for dates. $200,000 for phone marathons. $300,000 for nights. He always agreed, seeming happier than me with this arrangement. My last hesitation vanished as I embraced this dynamic. But this entire setup was Ryan's meticulous creation. A bespoke relationship tailored for me. Emily sighed. You've been together 3 years and have a child now. Just talk openly. No. Ryan cut her off firmly. Leaning back in his executive chair. Exhaustion lining his features but resolve unwavering. Moving too fast would overwhelm Jess. Honestly, the pregnancy matters less. What I truly want. He paused. Affection warming his voice until my heart raced like fireworks bursting. Is for her to use this amnesia excuse as my fiancé. To relax. Demand things. Act spoiled. Gradually. Truly accept my love. Returning to the mansion, Emily called. Sweetheart. Let's see a doctor about your pregnancy nerves. I interrupted. Should I try real love with Ryan? The words left me calmer than expected. I used to view romance as apocalyptic if parents abandon children. What bond lasts? But now, I feel Ryan's love. And want to answer it. Emily was such a perceptive person. She immediately understood and smiled. Don't be scared. Sweetheart. Go for it. I'll always have your back. Emily had only agreed to help Ryan after genuinely seeing his sincerity. In other words, it didn't matter who this man was. Her best friend's happiness was all that mattered. Feeling warmth in my chest. I was about to say something when I suddenly noticed the missed calls and messages on my phone. My temples throbbed. Oh no. Emily. Ethan's here. When I arrived at the villa, Ethan and Ryan were grappling with each other. Both were large, framed men, making it impossible to tell who was winning. Frantic. I instinctively shouted. Ryan! Stop! The servants nearby froze. Ma'am. The CEO is brawling? And with some muscle-bound lunatic. Telling him to stop might as well be asking him to commit suicide. Yet against all odds. Ryan's fist froze mid-air. He turned to look at me. His striking eyes bloodshot and filled more with anguish than anger. My heart clenched. I quickly stepped in front of Ryan. Ethan! Ethan! It's a misunderstanding. He's not trying to cut me out after getting me pregnant. Stop fighting. Please. After Ethan heard my explanation, I watched him anxiously. Twisting my fingers, I stared at my shoes. I'm sorry, Ethan. I shouldn't have dragged you here without understanding the situation. Ethan studied the young woman before him after all these years. She'd changed so much. No longer the little girl who used to cling to him. No more gazing up at him with those enormous dewy eyes. When did everything change? Ethan wondered. Probably that year she'd tearfully clutched his sleeve, begging, Ethan, can't you stay? Or take me with you? His adoptive parents had only agreed to take in one child. He'd been selfish. In the end. And then, they'd missed their chance. Now he could only ever be her brother. It's fine. Ethan's gentle reassurance finally let me relax. I turned to check on the man who'd taken a punch. Ryan, devoid of his usual confidence, hung his head and silently walked inside. TCH. How petty. I started to leave but hesitated. Was it right to abandon Ethan here? Ethan seemed to read my mind. Ruffling my hair. Now that I know you're safe. That guy seems decent enough. Go on. If you ever get married, make sure your big brother gets invited to the wedding. Marriage? Such a distant concept. Yet somehow, it didn't seem so frightening anymore. I smiled and nodded vigorously. MHM. When I entered the bedroom, Ryan was curled up like a child under the blankets. I knew he was upset, angry that I'd assumed he wanted to keep the child and abandon the mother. Someone like Ryan didn't fear sacrifice. But he dreaded misunderstandings. That was fair. He needed soothing. I tugged at him. Get up. He didn't budge. Come on. Still nothing. Fine. I'll leave then. I stomped my feet twice for emphasis. The figure on the bed sprang up, yanking me into his arms. You wouldn't dare. His usual gruffness returned, but I wasn't scared anymore. Poking his dimple, I spoke. Our voices overlapped. Ryan, do you want to eat? Do you like him? Ryan's eyes lit up with hope. Calling him Ryan meant I hadn't lost my memories, this time. Using that title implied, let's eat. I don't. Overlapped again. I laughed. He's just my brother Ethan. Nothing more. The storm in Ryan's eyes finally cleared. What do you want to eat? I'll make it. Pinching his cheek as all misunderstandings dissolved. I felt lighter than ever. Leaning close, I whispered words that made the man's handsome face flush. That's inappropriate. Pretending to be pure? I pushed him down, stripped off his clothes, and initiated what he'd been craving that entire evening. As night fell, I lay in Ryan's arms and murmured, I love you, Ryan. The way you love me. After a long pause, a soft chuckle brushed my ear. The sound of wishes fulfilled. The end.